Guys, it's that time of the year again. It's Siege Battle Season 6 time. Today we are going to go through a handful of the servers, maybe possibly all of the servers. We will see, but we're going to go through a handful of the matches. We're going to take a look at their defenses. We're going to see how the meta has changed from this Siege Battle season from the last Siege Battle season. I feel like that's a tongue twister. I also have the worst headache. I'm sorry. I am just letting you know in advance. Half the names that I'm going to say of the units are wrong because I'm going to be too focused on my headache and I'm going to be not focused enough on, let's just get it started. We have one fun thing to mention is we can take a look here at the Hall of Fame and see malicious, SSA, SSA. Actually, SSA, they usually just wind up being in it, where they always wind up being in the top two. This time, I'm not sure if they intentionally did this or not. But they are currently battling right now. So we're definitely going to see a final match that is different from every season before it, because it's going to be two totally different guilds. And it's very likely that whoever wins this match going on right now is going to be the final victor. So anyway, let's see. Just food for thought, right? So let's see what we have over here for some. I did see some of these defenses already, not in this specific guild, but I saw some of the different changes. We're seeing more mages this season and things like that, which we didn't see last season. The fire and the water mage too, as well as some other things. So let's take a look at, let me try to make sure that we take a look at the things that are not already, I'm always going to, so this is actually a defense that we have not seen before. Have not seen the last season. Very interesting. Okay, let's see how much more of that we see. So we see this is mostly just supports. This is not that much. I mean, there's only the damage from the fire sniper. So I feel like immunity is always strong against the fire sniper. But a lot of times when you see like the water werewolf in here, he's got another secondary defense break, and he also has the turn cycling. This is kind of a different situation there. So let's see what else we have. We have none of those are open. We have some pioneer. Oh, we're gonna see a lot of woosas, aren't we? I feel like we're going to see a lot of woosas this time. It's going to be, the RTA is going to transition into Siege Battle. Okay, and we're already seeing Molongs. We're already seeing Pioneers as well. What do we have here? So this is kind of standard. We've seen this before. This is some super pay-to-win OP defenses. Of course, there's just unlimited LD5s. This is another one. Okay, another one of the sniper, and then two support units. You guys can see everything. My face is not covering. I hope that my face, if my face does cover anything at some point, I apologize. I'll try to keep my eye out for that, just in case. We see some. So this is kind of similar to what we were seeing a little bit more last season. We saw so many of these Wind Onimushas the last season. That's the same base. I clicked on it again. Now we're on to 9. We see, I mean, a mixture of. I saw what was the one we were seeing a couple weeks ago. A lot of it was similar to this, but I don't remember apparently. So we see a water mage. Okay, so water mage Jogun and Nana Ethna Jogun. Sina Daphnis. Okay. Yeah, I saw more of these. So we're going to actually see some more of these Fire Art Masters and Savannahs coming back. But we're already seeing some of the mages being used here. All right, and then we see just a. How do I feel about that? I feel like I would just take a Wind Onimusha into this and like some Destroy Runes. That's what I would do against these Wind Onimushas and Destroy Runes. And I know people at this level have multiple Wind Onimushas already built. So we're on 5 circle. We have 4 circle to do. Okay, we see some more of the. Did we see? Was that 2 of that defense? Did we see 2 of that defense, or was it? Yeah, that's 2 different defenses that have the same stuff. So let's take a look at the different landscape over here. We can take a look at some of these other bases that we have not seen yet. Double LD pandas, of course. Double LD pandas. More LDs, more LDs, more LDs, more LDs. We see some Prahas and Tyrannus and the Fire Sniper as well. All right, so we see some of these. I've seen a little bit of these already this season. Is the Sylvia, Iris, and what's his face? Sun Zheng Lao. So we're on 6 right now. Let's take a look at 5. I actually think we already took a look at 5. Let's take look at the ones that are closer to the closer to here. Yep. Instead of Tyrannus, we have the wind on him. Oh my god, my headache's acting up again, guys. Because is that really your headache, or is that just you being stupid? I plead the fifth. El Sharion, really? So I actually think this is a really cool pick because, you know, immunity is very strong against that, as I was mentioning before. So I think El Sharion is very cool. The unfortunate thing about that is that you can't put on a 4-star base, but that's actually pretty interesting for a third pick there. I do like that. I think El Sharion. So I saw a little bit of this also in some other defenses. Is this Unu, but I'm not sure. I have not tried to hit this. I feel like I would still just Lucian this, but I feel like I would still just Lucian this. So anyway, yeah, but I did not personally hit it though. So let's see some of these. So these are the same. We're seeing some Molong, Molly, and Savannahs. We're seeing some of these which are similar to what we saw before. Fairly standard. Fairly standard. We're seeing some stuff that we saw last season as well. Okay, and I think that's about it. Let's see if we see anything crazy. Because we have these bases opened up. So I wanted to see if we see too much different stuff that we didn't see before. Really? So this is interesting. These fire howls. That is not a thing that's not a thing that I was expecting. So, very, very nice. I kind of want to hit some of these defenses. Like, Baker, you should join the G3 guild again. I'm like, I don't want to join a G3 guild again because it was so painful. It's so painful to try to just hit the same, because all it is just hitting the same defense 10 times. Although there are a mixture of defenses here that we're seeing now. But, yeah. Some of these could be just recycled. I just wanted to go through a little bit and see if we see anything different. Looks like we're just seeing, I mean, these things just get recycled from one base. One tower gets taken and you stick the same teams in another tower, so it's not anything too crazy. I do like that fire howl though. I like that fire howl. So let's see what we see here. Let's see what we see here. It's nice to skip just one like little bit into it. This way we see more towers open up that we can look at. Let's try to get a nice. Let's see, but these ones are missing. Okay. I feel like some of these are not too threatening though. Am I crazy for thinking that? I just don't see this as being like, wow, oh my god, I don't want to hit this. If I saw this would be the one I'd be like, any of you guys want to take this? Because I'll take this if you don't want to. Like that would be my my thoughts on this guy's. Seriously, this guy's got comp choice. You gave him 2 light pioneers. The thing is though that defenses like this, they get much stronger. Like you can hit them once and you're fine, but they get much stronger the more you stack them. So if you keep seeing this defense, it's stacked over and over and over and over again. Actually, there's 2 different defenses. But if you keep having them stacked over and over and over again, you only have so many counters for them. So just the fact that they're stacking it multiple times makes it a stronger defense overall. And I would not expect this to hit like a whole tower. Like if I had to hit a whole tower of just these 3 units or these 3 units over and over and over again, or 2 towers or 3 towers of it, I'd be like, I'm out of units to hit this specific defense. Like I get hit a couple times and then after that I'm like, I ran out of stuff, guys. I'm sorry, I ran out of stuff. So let's see what we have here. So this is fairly standard twin stuff. We've seen it a bunch before. I don't know why I'm clicking on an empty tower. We're seeing some more. So Theomar's got his skill cooldowns drastically. If you guys are coming back to the game, Theomar's got his skill cooldowns decreased drastically. And was it the last balance patch or the balance patch before that? So if you don't kill him like a couple turns after he gets his endure, he's just going to come back and like he's just going to get his endure again fast. So it was a significant decrease in the turns. So let's see what we have for 7. Oh, Cushlegs. I know him. I was surprised to see him there. Okay. And then we see some more Theomars. Okay, Theomars. Volantis Shungpung. Interesting. What else do we have? I forgot where exactly we were. So this is another one. So I have noticed that there have been more just mages. I mentioned that in the beginning. More mages this season than we did last season. So that's one of the bigger changes. And then we're, of course, going to see more Molongs. Not like Molong has never been in Siege. Molong has been a popular Guild Siege unit, Guild War unit for a while. He fell out of meta, and then now he's back into meta again. So more Theomars. So we're in 11, and we see another Twins defense. I don't even know what my defenses are, man. Like, I'm sitting here looking through all this. I think some of you are in the same token. You're like, it's interesting to see these defenses, but then you're like, I couldn't even tell you what my Guild Siege defenses are. I have no idea. No idea. They're probably terrible at this point because who knows when I actually built them. But yeah, they need to get a new fresh coat of paint. Metas change, etc., etc. So interesting. We see a Jara there. See, I feel like I would love to hit something like this though. Like, yeah, I just feel this is we used to see things like this a while ago. Super tanky, fast, aggressive. This moves right before this, and then she boosts up his attack gauge and he does other stuff. Like the very beginning of like when RTA was introduced, I know that this is not RTA. I know someone's gonna comment thinking, I'm like, Bagel, this is not RTA. I know it's not RTA, but when it was originally introduced and people were like using Molong all the time, this was also a popular siege defense at the time years ago. This is kind of defenses that look like this or similar to this is kind of like what made me so frustrated with Guild Siege and just like not want to be in a G3 guild anymore because we accidentally got G3. And then it was that there were just so many stacked Yenhong towers, and I'm like, I am tired of just hitting Yenhongs the entire siege because the whole siege was just hitting only Yenhong towers, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like there should be some kind of rule against. I don't have enough counters to all these Yenhongs, and all I'm hitting are Yenhongs. I think someone died upstairs or something. I don't know what happened there. So, yeah, just my frustration. And we see some more of these. We see some more twins. Nothing too crazy. This one was this. Let's see some of these. This is another. This is not the same. Not the same tower. This is another mage tower. Okay. So we're seeing some more tanky Molong, Molly, and Ritesh. Say Kumar. I was gonna say, listen guys, I don't even know what they're half the time. So this is interesting though. I gotta say I'm surprised to see the Iunu. I know he was buffed, right? But I'm surprised to see the Iunu in these Guild Siege defenses though. Because this is not, like, these two guilds are not the only guilds using Iunu in the Guild Siege defenses. So I'm just a little bit surprised to see that. So let's go to the next one. We should probably try to do these a little bit faster because there's gonna be, we're already 12 minutes in. We're nowhere even close to the end of the video, right? So we see some Tessarions again. I shouldn't say again, we didn't really see any Tessarions yet, but we see some more Miles. So Miles is kind of another thing that people are using right now. More people got them Miles. So that is something that I was not really was not really on my radar too much. Like I'm not surprised that they're using him. I'm just I don't think that I've been really hitting a lot of Miles defenses, so we are on 10. Let's go take a look at, I mean, fairly standard stuff. Some more water mages. We are on 9. Let's go take a look at 12. Yep, more water mages, more savannas, more Jaguns. So we're seeing a very distinct meta that has evolved recently after the water mage buff. Because some of this stuff, like this, is not the first time we've seen the Jogun and Savannah together. It's just that with the Nana now. Okay, those two don't have anything in them. Let's take a look at this. We're seeing some more Molong, Molly, and Savannahs. Let's take a look at 7. So we're seeing some Daphnis as well. And we're seeing, it's more Nanas, guys. It's just non-stop Nanas. So we see Riley. This is the first time we see Riley. So double Ifrit. I was going to say double Theomars. Double Ifrit and Riley. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't really know how I feel about this defense. I have not hit it, so I can't really say conclusively. I'm sure that they have something going on that I am not aware of to make this more tanky and less easily nuked. I just feel like with this one, I feel like these are other ones that I would love to hit because I feel like those are kind of, I feel like when I say that, it sounds like I'm being mean, but like, I don't know how these defense, like, we'll see how they, let's actually see right now. Let's see how these defenses are performing instead of me just being like, well, actually, we can't see how these defenses are performing, lol. But yeah. We used to be able to. Unless I just missed a button. So let's take a look at, so this is swag, not SSA, just regular swag. And then we have the SSA and red. So it should be an interesting one over here. Let's take a look at some of these matches. We have a couple of these towers open. I know we're skipping some of them, like, oh, Bagel, you should, you know, go all the way to the end of the timeline, see if these other towers open up. We will try to do that a little bit. I know that a lot of these are going to be very similar, so I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time going to every single base and just seeing, like, all the dupes. And actually, we should skip a little bit ahead to open a little bit more of these up after I just said that. But I do want to see some more of these defenses. But I don't want to go super crazy. All right, so we see a little bit more Wusas than we have previously, because he is a threat now. He is somewhat of a threat. He doesn't do crazy damage, though. If your unit is mostly dead in the first place, yes, he can finish it off much easier than he could have previously. And he doesn't need crit damage to do that. But he's not doing anywhere near as much damage as Mo Long. So I was trying to use him as a snipe unit. I was trying to do like a 2-shot combo. I'm like, with him and other stuff. But I'm like, he's really not doing a crazy amount of damage. So I had him like super ridiculous fast to just try to like nuke something, like insta snipe something like 4v3 in RTA. And I was like, this is not working. He's not doing as much damage as really. But this is interesting that we see the more totemists. So that's pretty cool. We were on 7 with a little baseball base sign. Okay, so we see some crackers here, and then we see nothing really. I guess they're in. I guess at this point they were in the middle of finishing it. So we see some death prevention. We see some Theomars. We see some crackers. Let's see what we have here. Fairly standard-ish defense, like things that we've seen last season too. We did see some chillings last season as well. Let's see some tanky bruiser kind of things. I kind of feel like Savannah's a little bit of a bruiser. She does kind of have 2 different lives. So she is fast. She's aggressive. She's a damage-dealing unit. She's a speed cleave unit. Or speed control cleave unit, actually. But she's also kind of like, you think about her, she's also kind of a bruiser unit as well. So I don't know why I clicked on that, guys. Obviously, there's no defenses there right now. I don't know why I'm clicking on it. But I do want to see some of the other... Okay. I do want to see some of the other servers as well, not just global server, because global server is not the only server in the game. So this is, again, it's nice to see Riley here. It's nice to see some free-to-play friendly units. We got the Theomars, we got the Riley, we had the Tessera, and the other one, we have the Perna here now. She does a lot. She does a lot of supports. The only thing is, I just feel like this would be a little bit easier to handle, I feel. I'm not trying to be... Wow, there's a lot of empty ones right now. I couldn't skip ahead like 5 seconds. Yeah. Another... So this guy... guy, girl, whatever. Lala and friends. Cleanse and strip here. So, removes all harmful effects on it. We did it in Dimension Predator, but it's super OP in Dimension Predator. But this is just like, it cleanses your team, so it's got its support, but it also strips the enemies, right? So, there we go. Nice support unit. Underrated unit. Very underrated. Not always the best case scenario, right? Doesn't have like immunity like Lulu does, but also does have that strip. Like Lulu's not going to strip anything, so Lala can potentially strip a lot of stuff, right? Potentially. So let's see this next one. Again, I know we could be going a little bit more aggressive, trying to find more things throughout the course of the matches, but I do want to see some more servers, not just global server. We're already up to 20 minutes. So some more EU news. Again, like I said, that's not the first time or the second time or the third time. Hey, Varian. Hey, Aspire. It's not the first time or the second time or the third time that I've seen those EU news. I'm just surprised to see them more so. I think we might have skipped over one. But we're seeing, I mean, some of the stuff is fairly similar to last season. Not that surprising. We see some strips, we see some defense breaks, we see some revives, things come back from the dead. some kind of support. Actually, not, I was gonna say support healers, but that is actually not very much heals on some of these. Like for example, this it's not heals. So this got some heals. But I think we're on here. So this is similar to stuff that we were seeing last season. I mean, a lot of stuff similar to last season, but the meta didn't shift like completely 180. So it's always, you always see a lot of the same stuff as the season before it, but you also we want to see what's new. We want to see what's changed. So EU news, mages, more mages, and then the water surfer, which I literally just said his name like 5 seconds ago, and I already don't remember it. Miles. Miles is his name. So we see some more Molong and Pioneers and some more HP Bruiser type unit. But everything here, super tanky, does damage based on their own max HP, right? So I'm sure they have damage mitigation passives and artifacts. Same thing. We're seeing some more Molongs. We're seeing some more Wusas. Or some more Pioneers in general, and then super tanky Bruiser kind of things. Let's take a look at what we have. I don't know why I'm clicking on these things. Again, we see another one. So this is a different guild. We're seeing some Tessarion, Theomars, and Riley defenses. Very free-to-play friendly, guys. Very free. This is wait. This is a different defense. This is 6, and this is 7. Same teams. Same teams. Okay. And we're seeing some of these are very similar to seasons before that. So not too much new crazy stuff. Like, again, this is just stuff that we've seen last season as well. So let's take a look at the next one that we have. Here's what we're going to do now. Since we've already seen some of the defenses from some of these guilds, we're just going to focus on half the board for these next couple ones. Let's go take a look at this. So we have Ocytocina. We have not seen just yet what their defenses look like, so let's take a look at some of those. We see some Ashirs. We haven't seen some of those before. No, we haven't seen some of those yet today. I mean, not before in general, just yet today. So we see some Claras. Have not seen too many Claras today. Maybe some other people having some issues with Clara like I do. So we see some Barbaras. Okay, super fast Barbaras. So we're on 7. And then let's see what we have on this one. We see some more Miles. Let's see what we have here. So this is fairly standard to other things we've seen as well. Oh, this is actually, we're seeing the red ones are not their bases. The red ones are other things. So more Ashirs as well. Okay, let's take a look at what is the next one that we did not see just yet. Let's take a look at Advent. Let's take a look at some of their defenses. So they are the red towers. Let's see. Let's check out this 12. Got the Dark Lich here. Hold on. The Dark Lich is something... That makes sense. But the Dark Lich is something you don't usually see too often. Okay. I mean, you used to see him at the very beginning of Guilty. You used to see him, but not really anything that we've seen too much lately. So, you used to see him with Chasun and Kamoon, actually. That used to be a thing. Okay, so it's fairly standard. So this is a little bit different, right? They don't have the speed lead, they have the crit rate lead. But you know it's going to be crazy fast and just crazy good statted. Anything at this level is going to be super well statted. So this is fairly similar to things that we've seen already. Unfortunately, like, I hate to see, I mean, like, there's a reason for it, but I hate to see these 4 stars and the 5 stars in the same bases, because then it's like, oh man, it's like 2 4 stars and like 1 nat 5, and it's like, that could have been in a 4-star base. Like, it would have been, you know, it always feels like it would have been more effective in a 4-star base, but people have so many of these fire snipers that it really doesn't matter. Like, they're not really missing out on anything. They're like, yeah, I got just an army of fire snipers, an army of Trianas. So, yeah, I'm kind of guilty of that as well. So, having an army of things. So this is, again, we're seeing some more EU news that we did not see last season. So, let's take a look at Latin Stars. Let's see, they are the red ones. So we're okay. So this is something we really have not seen today. We've seen this before. We really have not seen it lately. These are a little bit different. Okay. There you go. Some more ideas for you. But remember, and I've said this before, I've said this already, there's strength in not just like one person making a defense that looks like whatever this is. There's strength in like getting together with your guildmates and seeing like, okay, how many of these defenses can we just stack and restack and restack and restack? Like, how many of you have this team, this meta team that we can build and stack on like 3 different towers, right? So that's really where the strength lies, in this strategy of the same defense over and over and over and over again. And I mean, it's redundant to kind of see in video format, but it is effective in terms of like actually winning sieges. So, because oh, there we go. Another Lala. It depletes the enemy's resources of having like X amount of. This is really not something I was expecting to see today, because this is just like super easy bulldozer food. But I mean, as long as Wusa can take care of bulldozer more now, it's kind of scary. Unless there's heals on the team, right? You can do a bulldozer, and you can do like something that has some kind of heals or shields to prevent Wusa from obliterating bulldozer. Or you could just bulldozer is an HP unit, if I recall correctly. He just does his damage based on defense, but I think he is categorized as an HP unit. So, and I think his second skill does damage based on not enemy max HP, based on his max HP as well. So you could have some decent HP on bulldozer, enough to survive hits from Wusa. But yeah, a lot of times you just see these defenses getting hit by bulldozers. So let's see what we have for these. So that's why you don't see them too much at that level. But in mid game, especially if you have a bunch of them, they could be effective. I think we did not see this one on the right hand side. So these are a little bit different from what we've seen before. Right, we see the Wind Paladin. Well, Wind Paladin, really great Guild War leader skill. HP 44%. I mean, it says it up here as well, but yeah. Let's see what we have for 7. Okay, so we see some more of that defense. This is gonna be a super fast wolf, super fast Inugami. See some Theomars here. Okay. Theomar is very similar to. I mean, Theomar is just element neutral damage. So, like, he'll pick whatever target. He'll try to target things that are squishy. Clara will do some fluff damage at the very beginning, and like maybe Theomars will target the thing that's taking a little bit more damage than the other one, which is going to be your damage dealer if you're attacking it. So, let's see what we have for the next one. Fairly standard defenses, and we're only. This is not quite so fairly standard. This is the first time we've seen something that looks like this today. Not the first time we've seen Eladriel's, but another thing that I try to mention every time we do one of these videos is pay attention. If you guys are new, early game, mid game, casual players, pay attention to the fact that we're seeing multiple different elements in here. And this is something that I see early game players and even mid game players, even people that have been playing the game for years, still do this. Is they're like, I'll put 3 water units on there. Like, don't do that. It's not. I don't know why it's losing. Well, because you're putting 3 water units on there. That's why it's losing, because all they have to do is take a wind unit, like a Lucian, or many other wind units in there, and they already have an advantage. Like, at the very beginning of the match, they have an advantage of having the element advantage, number 1, and then also the advantage of they can pick, like, because offense versus defense, the offense always has an advantage for something like this with a static defense. In RTA, it's different because you're both dynamically picking at the same time. But for Guild Wars, Guild Siege, Arena, there's a static defense, so the offense is always going to have the advantage because they can choose what counters the static defense. So if you pick a Guild War or Guild Siege defense that has all one element, you have 2 disadvantages. That is going to lead to a significant loss rate on your defense. So just FYI, if you guys didn't already, I think most players that have been playing for a while already know about it. But I still see some veterans that do that, and I'm like, why are you still doing that? Good friends of mine, I'm like, why are you still doing that? They're like, what's wrong with it? I'm like, do you not even watch the videos? They don't even watch the videos. I'm like, I don't have the patience for this right now. Okay, so we're seeing some more. Look at this. This guy's so OP. This Water Werewolf is so OP. You just do Water Werewolf, Triana, and we've seen this in multiple seasons too. Water Werewolf, Triana, and then whatever crazy LD5 just goes right alongside it because both of them very strong. Both of them, like all this stuff works nicely. And then we have, although something like that, you got to be careful. Like, if you're mid-game and you don't have crazy speed on these units, this just kind of says, hi, I'd like to get Lucianed. And that's always my instinct, is like, the first question I ask is like, can I Lucian this? And I'm sure they have crazy speed and they're prepared for getting Lucianed, and they're like, we're going to be crazy tanky, we're going to be crazy fast, crazy tanky or crazy fast. Like, if this is a 300 speed Lucian, 300 speed. Bagel, what are you talking about? Listen, guys, I don't even know anymore. If this is like a 300 speed violent water werewolf, as crazy as that sounds, that is a thing. That's not outside of the realm of possibility in G3, because he's got very high base speed. So, if that's a super crazy fast water werewolf, my Konamiya with a very low base speed, it may not outspeed that. And like, maybe I decide, like, I'm like, oh, I don't need to worry about taking a speed lead, because, you know, the werewolf is like, they don't have a speed lead on their team. Well, the water werewolf could outspeed that, could crit resist, and then maybe Lucian doesn't kill with that crit resist. So just some food for thought. Like, these people are prepared for getting Lucianed at the very least. So yeah, one of the nice things I think about this is we could take I mean, you could take a Rocky into this. You could take the whatchamface too. Fire BK. Yeah. I don't know why I'm so excited about the Fire BK. Can we please? This is interesting as well. Okay. So she's kind of like a bruiser. Like, it takes a while for her to actually do her, like, to actually get to be super strong. So if she lasts a long time on the battlefield, she gets much stronger because of her reincarnate. But yeah, it takes a while for her to get to the OP status. I'm curious how I'm curious if they work well enough. We really don't see that too much, but she is kind of like a bruiser, and I would expect her to be ruined with quite a decent amount of HP. She's not going to be super squishy. So let's take a look at 9. So we see it's some more fairly kind of standard stuff. You really haven't seen, this was usually something else aside from Theomars last season, but now it is a Theomars now. Now it is a Theomars now. Okay, so this is fairly standard defenses. Let's see what we have for this one. Fairly kind of standard stuff. Nothing really too crazy. Nothing out of the ordinary. We see some more. Wait, we see some Bastets, or just one Bastet. But I mean, we've seen similar stuff to this already. Let's take a look at the 6. So this is some more bruisers. We haven't seen. I don't think we've seen like the Ishirs in the last one we took a look at, the last guild. But I don't think we saw exactly that specific defense. But that's pretty good. You're gonna outspeed. You're gonna boost attack gauge. Molong and Fuki are gonna come in and basically two-shot something, right? So you got the Molong, he's gonna reckless, and then you got the Fuki, he's gonna go and then finish off whatever, you know, do some HP-based damage to himself, and then finish off whatever Molong reckless, or at least that's the game plan for it anyway. And then we have, let's see what their 2 is. So fairly standard. We've seen that. It's not really like a new thing to this season specifically. And then we see some more of these, which are kind of more on the new things for this season. So not that we've never seen anything like that before. It's just more of the really weren't seeing things like that last season. So it's interesting to see the RTA meta be used in Guild Siege as well. I mean, balance patches, this is why balance patches are huge, because balance patches will shift the meta. You guys like, yeah, we know that, like, that's very obvious. So this is the one that we did not see, is the blue one this time. So let's see what we got for this one. Okay, we see some Reteshes, we see some Tessarions. Let's see over here. This is kind of standard. So one of the things that I want to note is that the teams, the defense that we see of the guilds that performed less effectively are the ones from last season. The guilds that performed more effectively are the ones that are kind of using the more meta things, like for example the nanas, like nana. So you see a lot of the ones that didn't move on to the next round were not using nanas and didn't kind of shift their meta. And one of the takeaways from that is that at this level of gameplay, if you use something one season and you have a whole season to get accustomed to it, then people already know how to deal with it the next season. So that's why the meta should shift to a different defensive strategy, because if you still stack those same defenses from the last season, people are going to have an easier time beating them because they already had the whole last season to get accustomed to dealing with them. So I think that's about... Is that about it for the... Oh no, we have one more. Weeping Angels. Okay. So let's take a look at this one. And let's see what they have here. Celia. So OP Celia. Celia can be pretty OP though. Depends. Guild Siege situation, she's a little bit stronger because she does provide strips, she provides CC, and then she's got a really good base speed, and then she also provides some damage. You can put her on crit damage, she does pretty decent damage. I have her on crit damage. People are always surprised by the amount of damage she does. Like, that just took half the HP off the unit. I'm like, yeah, she does skill. I mean, all the Harp Magicians do that though, is speed-based damage. So some people have their Trianas even on crit damage. So what do we have for 12? If you guys didn't already know, I know some of you already know that. Oh, we got a Han. It's a little bit different of a Han base. And we see some Rileys. Okay, this is something like 2 years ago you were seeing this defense with Eladriel, right? So now you see it with the Rileys. So interesting that we actually see these. I don't know how effective they necessarily are, but we are seeing them. And we see some... These twins can be so toxic, especially if there's so many of them. All right, we see some Tessarion Riley Arise. So this is another one. It's fairly free-to-play friendly. Like, it's fairly easy to get Tessarion. And then Orion is a 4-star, and then we have the Riley, which is a fusion unit. So some of these, some takeaways from this as well, if you're a casual player, if you're a free-to-play player, like, this is just all about the runes. It's all about trying to get the most effectiveness, and also stack the defense over and over and over again, right? Getting together with your guildmates and stacking the same defense over and over and over again to be very frustrating. Let's go on now to a different server. I think maybe we'll do Europe server next, and we'll see what's going on there. Now we're here on the Europe server. We should see fairly similar stuff. There may be some here and there that are very different, but we should see for the most part fairly similar stuff. Let's go take a look at these watch matches. So we are a little bit further along in the brackets on Europe server than we are on global server. Let's take a look at these over here, starting with round 1. Let's see if we can scoot a little bit in here a little bit more. I'm trying to find a nice spot where we can see most of the defense is open. So this is kind of similar to what we saw before on the other ones. We see some twins as well. Let's see if we see any crazy stuff. This is a little bit different than we saw. I mean, we saw a little bit of Eladriel. A very little bit of Eladriel previously on the other server, but this is just a little bit different. We're seeing some more Theomars than... I think we saw a little bit of Theomars last season. This is kind of fairly standard. The Vigors and the Trianas, and then LD number X, just random LD in there. What else do we have here? But yeah, we're seeing... I feel like we're seeing a little bit more Theomars this season than the last season. And I think he was buffed in the last season as well. We're just seeing a little bit more of him this time. So let's see if we see as much Nanas on here. We're seeing some more Dark Lich, actually. Okay. And I think the Dark Lich in the last one was also paired with an Iris as well. So it's fairly standard ones here on 11. Let's take a look at this fire 11. Let's take a look at this red 11. Oh my god. So this is kind of another one that we've seen before as well. Not really too much of this, but let's take a look here. We only have 2 different defenses we could take a look at there. We're still... There's never any good spot where we see like all the defenses. Is there? I don't know why I'm clicking on things that obviously have no. So this is fairly similar to the Gianna, the Ciara, Fire Nagami. And I say Fire Nagami because I know people are always like, that's not the right way. Don't say it the right way. It's like, there's no right way. No matter who you ask, they say it differently anyway. So yeah, Ciara, Fire Nagami, and a lot of times you see Gianna here. We're seeing the Praha here. But it's just when they team up, they do their first skills and they increase their attack gauge. So you have like a Swift Fire Nagami, and then you have these 2 girls team up, and then everyone gets turns. So you got the AoE strips, and then you got the bombs and the nukes, right? So Let's see what we have over here. We see another one, fairly similar to the last, not the last tab we saw. I think 11 was the one. Yeah, 11 was the one where we saw that. So, kind of similar, not anything too crazy. I don't know why I'm clicking on empty defenses, guys. I really don't. We see some Woosas here. We see some Savannas here. Okay. And we see some Eunice. So, not anything really too crazy from before. Let's take a look at this. Alright, let's get a good... Is this a good spot that we can take a look at a decent amount of defenses? We see some Nananons, we see some LDs, we see a Perna over here. So something strong into this would be, for example, a Zyros or a Rocky that has, you know, death, that has prevent things from reviving, which basically takes out the Kraka and also the Perna. So, let's see what we have for... Which one was that? Okay, and we see some more twins. Not surprising. They're so effective, so, and we see some, oh, hold on, we see, Dark Cannon Girl, okay, Dark Cannon Girl is kind of a fun unit. Like, I even saw that when I was playing on the Gianna Project account, where we had Gianna and the Dark Cannon. Wait, didn't we have 3? Didn't we get the light, was it another account? There have been so many accounts throughout the years. Did we get the light Polar Queen on that account as well? Because I think, like, because the account was given to me by a viewer. And then, I think we actually got the Light Polar Queen on there. And then I got the Light Polar Queen, like, not, like, a couple months later on the LD account. But I think we actually had a Light Polar Queen on there, too, if I recall correct. I mean, I could just ask. I know the person that has the account, so, lols. But, yeah, we see some more Nanas. So, let's see what we have on this one. Fairly standard, okay. It really finished the auto runs that fast? Didn't we just start those? Oh, I guess we didn't just start those. I guess I have no concept of time, as usual. All right. So, let's go for, I don't know why I'm clicking on ones that are not open, but I'm just not paying attention, aren't I? All right. So, we've seen similar stuff to this before. Molong Savannah and X-Light Unit Molly, or Nigong, or... what's her Iris? As soon as I click on it, I'm like, oh, that's her name. Lols. So what else do we have here for this one? We've seen some more Molong and Woosas. See, I feel like the Molong Woosas, like, if you know that that's what you're fighting, I feel like those are just super easy to deal with. You're like, okay, I can handle that. Super easy. The well, we really can't see the defense success rates, can we? So, yeah, some more fairly standard ones over there. Let's take a look at this. 12, we see some more Miles. Okay. A fairly similar comp to where we saw Miles before. Again, clicking on empty towers, Bagel. Clicking on empty towers. This is, again, stuff that we saw before. Nothing too crazy. We see, this is not something that we've seen before. We see an Ariel. All right, full tower full of Ariels. Interesting. Ariel cleanses now, so something that I would not have expected. Going into, like, if I go into a siege and I see some aerial towers, I'm like, I know how I would want to approach this, but maybe they anticipated how I want to approach it, and then they've prepared for that in advance. So we're seeing some more Molong Savannas. Molong Savannas has gotten a lot more popular together in, not even just right now, in the past 3 months, I want to say. I want to say 3 months. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, because I could not be. So this is interesting. This is for those of you that don't have the mollies or the betas. You could just use a water. It's not as effective though. The water mermaids. But I've seen this being used before. So yeah, and then we have one with the Fuki, and then we have one with the Kinky as well. So yeah, that's just if you don't have Molly and you don't have Beta and you don't have other things, lols. But it's not as effective. We already took a look at that, didn't we? Oh, they're the same tower. Okay, so I don't know which one we specifically took a look at because they're the same tower. This is the not Squad Zero. It's the Squad Zero. Yeah, yeah, it's that one. Okay, let's take a look at this one we have here. A Bellio. Okay, was not expecting one of those. We see some double archangels. But again, like something like a Rocky would be very strong into this as well. Let's take a look at... well, I mean, anything is... Like, there's strengths and weaknesses to anything, though. But, yeah, the real strength is stacking the same defense 9,000 times to be very, very toxic. We see some more Molong Savannas. We see some of these Chillings where we usually see, or where we used to see the Vigors the last season, the Ashirs the last season. We're seeing some Chillings now. Or we actually did start to see some Chillings last season as well, didn't we? So, we've seen similar stuff to this before. Let's take a look at 11. We're seeing some Wind Monkeys. We didn't see... Did we see any Wind Monkeys on Global? I don't think we saw any Wind Monkeys on Global. Not that it's the first time we've ever seen Wind Monkey. Wind Monkey has been in Siege before. Wind Monkey, especially with the Tessarion, the Xingzhe Wind Monkey, and the Mali, was a pretty popular defense for a while. So, yeah, it's just interesting to see that now, since we did not see any on Global. But this is fairly standard defenses. We saw these already, a handful of things that are similar. We've seen a handful of stuff that's similar. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is things that we've just seen before. But of course, when you get into like the top 10, the top 5, the top 2, you're going to see a little bit of a, you're going to see a shift. So a lot of these things that have been meta last season, there's less of them in, like, the higher you go in the top G3, the less of them there are going to be. So... they're going to be recycling less stuff from last season. They're going to be like, no, we'll just build whatever is the most effective because we've just summoned, I want to say thousands, probably not thousands of them. I think we may have clicked on the same tower multiple times, which is pretty likely. Okay, so we see some more Molong Savannas on 6. We see some of these, some more twins. No, okay, so this is a little bit different. We see Miyangan twins. Okay. I mean, it's going to be hard to outspeed that, so... I should have just done Yang Twins. Twins just work with anything. But that extra speed, right? The extra speed on the speed lead is going to make that even more effective. And then you at least have some heals. I mean, the Triana has some heals too, things like that, but... yeah, let's take a look at where we have... This is Invaders, so let's take a look at the next one after that. It's Light Hope. So... they did not advance, did they, to the last round? I kind of thought that they would. But I think that they went through some... Okay, so we see, like, we saw before, like, some Mollies. Not Mollies. We saw before some Molongs. Molong, Molly, it's the same unit. Some Molongs with the Fukis. Now we're seeing some kinky Molongs. I'm not going to continue with that sentence. I was going to go a little bit further with that, but let's see what else we have here. So some more twins, not that surprising. We see some Tessarion, Wusa, and Savannas. Okay. More to say. This is this. Wait. Did we click on a different one, or is this is actually? Yeah, no. This is the same same defense, different towers. We did not click on the same one. So this is the Gianna and little Ray. Little Fire Nagami. Lulz. And we see another one, Fire Nagamis. Okay. This is interesting. Okay. So a lot of the time, I'm curious. I'm like, you know what? We don't use Lanet that much. If she had better base speed, I think she would be more useful. But this is a unit. She's got the speed lead, right? She's got a 19% speed lead. It's not super premium, but it is still a speed lead. Then we have this AoE with dots for the first skill. We have the multi-hit defense break for the second skill, just random attacks. And we have this as a heal for the third skill. Does damage based on the enemy's max HP. Heals for 30% of the damage dealt. This is technically the best healer in the game. It heals the most amount of heals. You could have heals for 100,000 HP on this unit. So that's overkill. There's nothing that you could even stack 100. Even like the Light Dragon, you can't even stack 100,000 HP on. He's got the highest base HP, right? If I recall correctly. I mean, Chao's got a lot. Wusa's got a lot. But I think the Light Dragon has the highest base HP. But yeah, you can't even like... You can't heal anything else for more than that, I believe. Maybe... Oh, hold on. Maybe like a Dark Frankenstein with Vampire Runes. Maybe. Alright, so let's see. So yeah, it's just interesting to see this being used for that. I want to see how well it does. I feel like this is actually going to be potentially a pretty successful defense, especially like if you're using this at the lower levels and people are not expecting it. They're like, oh, this doesn't look that scary, and then they get obliterated by it. I think you could catch people at lower levels with this, and it's fairly, like, this was a Hall of Heroes unit. All you need to do is summon the Light Magic Knight, and it's a fairly decent defense. There you go. There you go, guys. So let's take a look at this. This is fairly standard to what we've seen before. Let's see what we got here. I'm not clicking on more. I'm not clicking on the same ones again, am I? Oh, jeez. I know you guys triggered right now. You're like, Bailey, you gonna restart that run? Maybe. Okay, so we see another. I'm just excited to see Celia's. I'm just excited to see that. So that's gonna be a super crazy fast Celia, but that's kind of like obvious. Like Celia is just crazy fast anyway. Her damage is based on speed. You always have a crazy fast Celia. You don't have any like super slow like plus 10 speed Celia. Okay, one of you watching has a plus 10 speed Celia. That's like, no, Bagel, I use Celia with Leo. Why? What this? I mean, if you like nerfing yourself, that's a good way to approach it. Oh wait, this is a little bit different, right? This is a little bit different. We got the Julienne, we got the Harmonia. As soon as I click on it, I remember the name, right? As soon as I click on it. So yeah, we got some more HP based bruisers. We see, hey, there we go. It's my girl. That's my girl. All right, we see this is fairly similar to what we've seen before. And again, the strength in numbers. So it's all about stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking the same defense over and over and over again. So we see some Cadiz there, which is potentially dangerous with a team like this. Let's see what we have over here. We see some Skogels. We don't really see too many Skogels anymore. I think people just got a little bit too used to dealing with those. Skogels are still... And Aegir's. Okay, Aegir has HP lead as well. You guys can see that right there. But yeah, I think Skogel could still be very effective at mid game. Just not quite as effective in, not quite as effective anymore in something like this level of RTA. Of RTA. Bagel, explain to me how this is RTA. Did I mention I have a headache? And also, I've been talking for like an hour at this point. Maybe not an hour. Let's take a look at this one. 30 minutes, 40 minutes? I don't know. It's multiple files, so I have no idea how long I've actually been talking. Let's take a look at, see if we can... This is a decent spot where we can see a lot of towers that are actually open. We see some twins. We see... What is this? I think we'll just do... I don't know if I mentioned this like already, but I think we'll just do global Europe and Asia. Because as long as we get a good cross section, I would like to do Korea and China and Japan as well. But I think we basically get the idea when we take a look at like 3 different servers. There's not too much difference on, like, there's usually some different stuff on, like, especially like China server or Korea server. Like well, all different servers have a little bit of different stuff here and there. But this one, I feel like this would not do very, very good. These defenses. I just don't feel very threatened by these ones. But, you know, you never know until you actually hit them, right? They could be prepared for you in advance. I see why these defenses do well, and they're very successful. Okay. Interesting. I mean, this kind of does... I want to say this kind of does buffer because it's got the speed buff and a crit buff, but, you know, she already has her own speed buff as well, so you don't really have to worry about the speed buff too much since she already sets herself up and does the speed buffs. But yeah, one of the strong things against the fire sniper, where was it? One of the strong things against the fire sniper is immunity, and you have these 2 different things here that are going along with the fire sniper. There's no heals here, so you can tank it out, but one of the things with this is like there's 2 things stripping any immunity that you would have on the team that you try to hit this with. So let's take a look at 10. Okay, we see some more that's fairly standard. We've seen a lot of that last season. So this is another one that we really have. This is, I've not seen this one yet. We see the Nana Juno Ethna. All right. Seeing some Nanas. Seeing some Nanas today. Again, clicking on bases that are empty. Very smart. So this is another one. Same thing. So it must be effective if this is the same thing that we're seeing on multiple bases. So all you gotta do is stick a mermaid and a Molong and a Savannah in there, and you are set. And if you don't have a Savannah, you just do a Fuki or a Kinky, something else like that. So we see also some Dark Liches. I was not this is something that I was not expecting at the beginning of this video, is to see so many Dark Liches today. Not that we saw a crazy amount, but and then these are things that we've seen before. Not that we saw a crazy amount, but we saw at least enough Dark Liches to be like, oh, that's interesting, and also some enough Eunus to be like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So let's see. I think this is a decent. Let's at least have. Yeah, this is. Oh, this is good. This is good. Okay, so let's see over here. Fairly standard. Stick some Savannahs in there, and everything is good to go. So this is again, this defense is. We're seeing some more of this defense. We're seeing the Chillings. We're seeing the Eunus. We're seeing the Carcanos. So yeah, that's. I have not hit that. I kind of like the werewolves more though, because at least that's some sustain, right? So that's kind of interesting. I would love to see how that works firsthand. I say that now, and then I'm gonna just like the next siege, I'm gonna have to hit that like 1,000 times. I'm gonna be like, okay, I don't want to hit this anymore. I'm running out of counters. I'm running out of options. Okay, so we see some more Molongs, just tanky Molong stuff. Okay. And some LDs and another. This is this is a different guild. This is a different player. But this is also another Julianne one. Okay. What do we have for this one? Oh, so we have some Shrens. So this is, I'm sure, going to be speed tuned to go one after the other. Or actually, I'm wondering what their speed tuning is specifically, if they have the Molong going first and then the Riley to heal up the Molong some, and also have an attack power buff for the Shren, and then have the Shren move directly after. That's, I think, how would you guys speed tune this? Because that's the way that I would think to speed tune this. And then that's going to be a bruiser. That's going to be a bruiser Shren. She's not going to be super squishy. She's going to be like, she's going to be fairly tanky, but also have some damage. That's a bruiser Shren. So that's probably the way that I would think to. Also, Shren is going to heal that Molong as well. So the Molong Reckless into attack power buff and heal some of the Molong, and then do the damage and also heal Molong some more. So I think that's how I would do that. But yeah, I love to see that Shren, man. I love to see that Shren. Was this the one we were? No, this was not the one we were on. I am already lost. I am already lost. I was half right. I clicked on the wrong 7. I clicked on the fire 7. The red 7, not the blue 7. So we were actually on the blue 7. Okay, so let's see what we got for this one. Okay. Not sure how I feel about that one. This one we saw a little bit, not necessarily with this, but we were seeing more Ritesh, and what was the last one we were seeing? More Ritesh and something else, some kind of AoE control damage dealer thing after that. Was it with the Jogun, or was it with the... It might have been with the Jogun, actually. Might have been with the Jogun. Okay, but we saw that a couple seasons ago, a little bit more popular than it is now. Or actually noticeably more popular than it is now. Okay, so we see some Kinkies. We see some of these Giannas. Let's see what we have for this one. HP lead. All right. And then we have some more Bruiser teams. We see a Vivachel. We really haven't seen too much from the Vivachel, but all HP-based damage. And then we have the more Eunus. I gotta say, I'm surprised to see all these Eunus today. I really am. We see some Cadiz. We see some Twins. Just fast, aggressive stuff. I'm clicking again on things that don't have teams in them. So, let's see some more HP-based damage. Some more. This is at the very beginning of when we had Guild Siege. Actually, no, it wasn't this. I was going to say this is a team that people were using, but it wasn't this. It was actually the Praha. The Praha in the two of these was a very popular team at the very, very beginning. Let's take a look at what we have over here. We've seen these before a whole bunch. And then we have Lulus. And the Lulus. Okay. But I mean, if there's a whole lot of sustain, and he has some kind of, he has some threat, but he's not like a crazy amount of threat. I feel like I would love to bring a Water Bison, Water Slayer into this, and just eventually just whittle them down and not really worry too much about it. Because this is just like a lot of support, but not like a whole ton of damage. So yeah, and then what do we have for? Oh, that's about it. Let's take a look at the next one. How many more do we have? How many more do we have for the first round? Because we know that these people are using the same defenses. So if we take a look at the third round, I assume that we're going to see we can quick take a look at those in the third round, see if they changed anything. But I think for the most part, they're just going to be. There we go, guys. Some double, some gimmick YouTube action, some double Harp Magicians. Okay, so fairly standard from what we've seen before. We see some more Tessarans, we see some more Savannahs. Also, Tessaran and Savannah. Well, okay. Pros and cons to something like this. I was gonna say the Savannah. We see a lot of Savannah. You can take a Leo into the Savannah to stop her from doing all the damage, and also Tessarion does damage based on speed over here. Damage increases according to attack speed, but also Tessarion is a counter to Leo, so it's not like you can just take Leo into this and be like, oh, I don't have to worry about two of these units. Like, no, you still have to worry about Leo's gonna get Oblivion, and then you're gonna get destroyed after that. So you gotta make sure you gotta protect Leo. Alright, so what do we have for this next one? We have... Oh, I think we may have already... Did we already click on that? I already forgot. My boy Han. Alright. We see some Kinkies. We see some Rakan. Rakan not bad in a team like this, right? We do have some HP-based damage. We have HP-based damage. We have this is going to be tanky enough to survive hits, especially if they've got the glancing passive. So... is going to be nice. And then also they can do the one-shot, the two-shot combo. So, and especially if he violent procs, then he can reckless violent proc into a defense break, and then Rakan comes in. I'm sure that their speed tune go right after each other, and Rakan comes in and obliterates things. That's another thing that I want you guys to think about if you're like early to mid game, that it's important, and a lot of people in endgame think about this and like, okay, I want to make sure my speed tuning is tight so that the units move right after each other, so they have this 1-2 shot combo. Whereas in early game, you're like, oh, I'm going to stick this team in with this unit and this unit and this unit. And it's like, these things are wildly different in speed. Like, there's like a 70 speed difference in two of your units. Like, the enemy's going to have time, the attacker is going to have time to heal in between those two units on your defense moving. So, if you have two different bruisers like this, you want to make sure they're speed tuned to go fairly quickly after each other, so that they have the 1-2 shot combination and they kill something on the offense. So, what are we on? 6. Let's see what we have here on 7. Fairly. We're seeing some more of the Dark Lich, man. He didn't even get it. Did he even get a buff? I don't think he got a buff. I don't think he got changed. People just wanted to use him. Someone decided to use him and that he was decent. And then more people were like, oh, I'm going to use him too. Yeah, he didn't actually get a buff. It's just people are using him more now. Okay, he does multi-hits, so it's good for artifacts. But yeah, just a little bit surprising. Okay, so we have what else? Let's take a look at this. 12. That's a fair. Did we see that before? Or no, that was also on this team. This defense as well. That's where we saw it. So quite a decent amount of these Tessarion, Savannah, and Wusas. Not the first time, not the second time, not the 12th time that we're seeing these today. Let's take a look at more Tessarion. Okay, but this one we see with the Dark Pioneer. So, and more of these Molong Savannah X, Molong and mermaids and stuff. What do we have for this one? We see some more fast, aggressive teams with Beast Riders and Savannahs, and we see some Nanas in here this time. Okay. Let's see what we have for this 10. We see some of these as well. These we've already seen before. We see some Molong and Beast Riders. We see some... So, we're seeing... I mean, we're seeing a lot of the same stuff again, of course. It's not to be... Not that we're not expecting that. We see some Rileys here. That's a little bit different. Let's see what we have for this 6. But I think it's also a lot of, so, like all servers, not a lot of servers. All the servers talk crap about each other. They're like, oh, that wouldn't work on this server. That you try that on my server. My server is better than your server. And it's like, it's the same stuff on all the servers. Calm down. Calm down. It's the same stuff. Oh my goodness. No, Baker. Whatever server that I'm on is better than the other ones. Like, guys, they're the same. Everyone's good at this point. Everyone's good. So it's a lot of the same stuff on all the different servers. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have next. Like, oh my god, dislike video. How dare you? Oh, we have nothing? There we go. What was the last one of Yggdrasil? Man, I remember Yggdrasil from, that's like the tree god thing. Well, they do have it on their logo as well, the tree thing. But that's like the tree spirit thing. I remember that from Breath of Fire. You guys like, we don't care. Show the defenses. So this is interesting. We really don't see too much of that. We see some Zarathus and Orions and Trianas. But yeah, I remember that from. And we see some more of these Eunus. Okay. This is the surprise of the day, seeing so many Eunus. He did get buffed. It's just still the surprise of the day. And the Nanas. Okay. And the Platies, man. You know what? Smart people. Smart people here, because smart people use Platies. You know, pick the Molong, pick the Savannah, but smart people always use Platies. That's all I gotta say. Ryan's right. Guys, next season, can we have a Ryan meta? I think it's time. I think it's time for the Ryan meta. Do you guys know he has attack power buff and defense break in his kit? He doesn't need anything else to do it with him. Just got that attack buff defense break. You know what? I'm going to start the Ryan meta. I don't even care. I'm going to build like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Ryans. I'm going to stack all Ryan defenses. I don't even care. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. All right. What was I even talking about? Oh, I was talking about a Breath of Fire or something. Good old Breath of Fire. That was there. All I remember of that game was like dragon stuff, which is cool, right? And then the dude gets older, and then he does like a different looking dragon throughout the course of the game, right? I think it was Breath of Fire 3, 4, I don't know. And then there was a lot of random encounters. I just feel like it was a crazy amount of random encounters in that game. We see some more Molong Savannas. We see guys like maybe just randomly get off topic. Yeah, that's pretty typical. Dark Liches, some more Dark Liches. Okay, fairly standard stuff. A lot of similar stuff to last season. We saw some Eladriels. I know I didn't really mention it, call it out specifically, but we did see some more Eladriels. So, more Nanas, more Theomars. So, Nana Theomars and Eunus are really the ones that are... These defenses, these twins and Triana have just stood the test of time. So OP, man. So OP. But those are the ones. Let's take a look at this one specifically, just so we see if anything has changed 3 rounds in. Let's see some of the things over. Let's see if we can find a spot where they have some of these towers over here. Seems like it's fairly similar. Right, so we're not seeing anything too different. We're not seeing anything too different in the 3rd round. So, I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, we see Nyx. There we go. We have for this one, Nana. So many Nanas. We're going to go on Asia server. It's going to be more... I think I already clicked on this one. My bad. Okay, we see some more Molong Savannas, which is also, like, that's just a thing now. And more Dark Liches. No. It's the same guild. It's the same guild we've seen before. It's not a different guild. So, I don't know why I was saying like that, as I was shocked. Because we will see the same defense. I just wanted to see if there's anything different in here. To see if we really need to pursue... Like, oh, let's recheck all of these to see, like, what's going on, like, if anything crazy. And they will actually have some things prepared for, like, the final rounds that are, like, a little bit different. But for the most part, it's going to be fairly standard across the board. Let's now go on to the Asia server and we'll see what the situation is there. Now we are here on the Asia server, where for the next half an hour, we're going to take a look at all the same exact defenses as the other ones. So let's see what we have going on. I feel like we're going to see a lot of Iyunus, a lot of Nanas, and a lot of Molong Savannas. And a lot of also... Hey, we got some Shungpungs, so that's a little bit different. We have not seen too much Shungpung and Perna together before. Today at least, right? We see some Ciara, Clara, and Nanas, which I actually kind of expected to see. Like, if we're going to see the Nanas, I expected to see a little bit more of this, to be honest. A little bit more of, like, something like this. Not necessarily specifically this, but something like that. More fast, aggressive Nana stuff. Let's see. We have more Pernas, actually. More Pernas on Asia server. And then this is stuff that we saw on the other ones as well. Let's see, 11. So this, a little bit different. We got the Chiwus here. Okay. But see, this is also... So they're going to get turn 1. They're going to AoE defense break. Then they're going to Ciara bomb. This, I mean, you could still withstand the single Ciara bomb and then come back from that with something like, you know, crazy Diana violent procs, your own Ciara, and then, like, for example, a like Arena, right? So, especially if one of these two units, because you know they're going to move first, if one of these two units crits on the Arena, puts that shield up, that's going to just be more... And also a very high resistance Rena. That's going to be more more effective HP basically for Rena to not die. So what are we on? 11. Let's see what we have next. Fairly standard. Hey, we didn't really see too much Kakis today, did we? This is a little bit. I was gonna say different. This is a little bit different, guys. Bagel, is it a little bit different? Yeah, it's a little bit different. Okay. This is also a little bit different. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at all this different stuff, guys. Yeah, for the most part, fairly similar, though. But that's just how it's always going to be on the different servers. Like, whatever gets very strong in the balance patch, people are going to be trying to use that to its maximum potential in the Siege for the next season. So, I don't know. I just clicked on... something that was, yeah, here we go. Okay, so some more Nanas. We're on 4. Let's take a look at, so this is, so the battery's like, God, I had enough of this, buddy. So we see some Kakis now. So we weren't seeing as much Kakis on the, other servers, but we see some more Kakis now. We're seeing the Fukis, we're seeing the Kinkis, we're seeing all that stuff. But now we see some Kakis. All right. We didn't see any of the water. Well, the water ones, you know, Lucian exists. So, yeah, that's why you don't see the. That's also why I'm surprised to see so many Chillings actually. So we're on 5. Let's take a look at this one. Fairly standard stuff. Fairly standard. A lot of people using that defense. Oh my goodness. And again, for that defense, like, it's easy to hit the first time, but then after that, like, eventually you get depleted of your resources, and just trying to hit the same defenses over and over and over again, it's going to be it gets more challenging every time. So, the stronger players will know how to beat the same defense over and over and over again all day. And also have the resources to beat that same defense over and over and over all day. What do we have for this Clover Guild? I don't know what the actual names are, if they're not in English. So... let's take a look at... This is perfect. We can actually, for once, we can actually take a look at every single... we are in between songs. I was like, the music stopped? But, yeah. So we can actually take a look at every single defense. So we have a bomb defense here. I wonder if that is going to be super effective. I guess there's only one way to find out. I have not ever hit that. So this is a little bit different. You don't have any sustain on here, but you do have a lot of fast, aggressive damage. The thing that I like to do against something like this is to just, since they're double boomerangs and Shayna, is to try to just take out the Shayna as fast as possible. This way they're not going to team up with anything. So, then we have, what else? But yeah, that's been an effective defense for quite a while. So we see some more. So it's a little bit different from what you usually see. You usually see like a Molly in here, or you see like a fire sniper in here or something like that. But you see the Clara this time. So let's see what we have for the next ones. Fairly standard stuff. Fairly standard stuff. Oh, that's so much more popular. Which she should, because she's a great unit. I've always liked Praha. Is this the... Wait. 10? Didn't we see this on something else as well? Did we see this on 5? Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. So it's a different defense, but it's the same teams. So we see some more Fastic. We see some Zeratus. What do we have here? Some Giannas, some Snipers, some Trianas. Let's take a look at this one. We see some fairly standard... Man, this is like the... It's this one, the Twins, the Triana, Vigor, and Carcano, and then the Molong Savannah X, some kind of support sustain unit. Those are like the big ones. So, and of course Lala and friends. How could I ever forget? I'm just glad to see that unit actually being used. Oh my god. I mean, you know they're just like G5 in RTA, right? You know they are. Jeez. Oh my god. Which direction were we going? I think we were going this direction. Okay. More nanas. Okay, okay. We see some more chillings. Okay, it's a little bit different. This is things that we were seeing a little bit more of before, right? We're seeing like this plus Lucas. Lucas is another thing similar to Han. He's element neutral, damage dealer that also has a defense break in his skill set, and then the Lucas has some sustain with that shield as well. So, what do we have? We're on 6. Let's take a look at 7. And 7 is the same stuff that we're accustomed to. Already, let's see what we have for the next one. All right, nice. So this we can actually see. This everything has defenses. Maybe this is the one that I was thinking of before when I was saying like, no, I was saying Ritesh, but I think this could have been the one that I was thinking of. Is the more Ritesh and Fire Bison. I think that might have been the one. But yeah, we got some more Shimpungs and Fire Bisons over here. Fairly standard stuff. Let's take a look at 4. We see some Pernas, some Theomars. These guys are coming back again, guys. They're coming back again. Okay, we see some Celias. Let's see what we have for number 5. And we see some... Oh my god. And we see some Unulalas. Unilas. I kind of want to hit these. I kind of want to like just make my own defense of that and then be like, let's see how good it does. Right? Unilalas. But you also got to think, when you make any defense, you got to think like, what is the opponent going to use to hit you? And then you got to prepare yourself for that. Like if you need a certain amount of HP, or you need shields, or you need like certain artifacts, like decreased damage from whatever unit is going to commonly hit you. Like that's another big thing that that you don't see on the back end that goes into these defenses. So let's take a look at this one. More Lalas, man. More Lalas, more Gregos, more Platies. This is such a this you would not see this. This okay. These are defenses that I was not expecting to see today. I did not expect. I never in a million years would have expected to see this defense today. But, you know, maybe the people attacking it were not expecting that that either, so. Yeah. Okay, so you see some Archangel. You see some more bombers. But this one makes a little bit more sense because you got the bomb and you got the detonate immediately. Although his bombs are a little bit more effective than your other bombers. So. And we see some more. That's kind of similar to what we've seen before on other things. We see some more Nanas. We see some more Claras. So I feel like we're seeing a little bit more Claras on here than we were in the other ones. Let's take a look at 9. Yep, and some more Molong Savannas. I love Savannah. I don't use her as much as I should. And there's really no reason for it. I'm always scared, like, if I pick Savannah, opponent's going to pick a Leo. And I'm like, I could just pick Savannah anyway and ban the Leo. Or just pick Savannah. Because I like to play with Savannah. Savannah's a fun unit. Alright, so I'm talking about RTA though. But I'm also guilty of not doing enough RTA battles just in general. But when I do, I don't even pick the units that I like half the time. This is another one you really don't see too much nowadays. He gets so hyped. I mean, he's very effective in terms of he has a cleanse, he has a revive, he has a defense break, a brand, and a heal block. But one of the things is his HP, his base HP is not anything too crazy. 9885 for a support unit is not ridiculous. So we're on 7. Let's take a look at what we have for number 2. Hey, we see some more Skogels. We didn't really see too much Skogels on the other servers. Okay, so this one, kind of interesting. We have not seen some. So there's a little bit of a difference here and there. For the most part, most of it is the same. Let's see what we have for the next one. Gone X. Okay. But for the most part, it is the same. We have this fairly standard combination of just like... The algorithm is just LD5 and then Water Werewolf and Triana. Okay. And we see some more Joguns and Savannas. What else do we have over here? Fairly standard stuff. We are seeing more some more Rock Boys on this server than we were on the other ones. And we've seen a few of these before already. The Tessarion, Savannah, and Wusa. Basically, all this is just saying you need Savannah. You need Molong, you need Savannah, you need you need to build a unit. Let's see what we have for the 6. And you need Tian Langs. I'm a little surprised to see the Ariels though, as well. But Ariel got stronger. Ariel's got a cleanse now, which definitely makes him more viable. You just need to make sure if you're gonna put Ariel on your defense, remember that he's not, unless you make a Rage Ariel, he's not a damage dealer. If you make a Rage Ariel defense, crit damage defense, he then becomes a damage. I'm curious if they put crit damage on him. Like I said that initially as a joke, and I did it in the video as a joke, but I'm now curious if people are doing crit damage on these Ariels. I have not hit them, so I don't know firsthand. But yeah, so what we're in 6. Were we going this way or were we going the other way? I think we're going this way. You see some Giannis. Shocking, guys. Very shocking. Okay. And we see these are kind of similar to what we've seen before. A little bit. And we see some more Carcanos and Fukis and Mermaids. We see this is empty. I don't know why I'm clicking on it. We see some more fairly similar stuff. I think it's interesting that people disagreed with me when Carcano got buffed, and I'm like, yo, you're going to see him in Guild Siege all the time. Guild War, Guild Siege. Well, more in Guild Siege than Guild War. People are like, no, Bago, that's not right, blah, blah. And, like you could just see, obviously, this season, last season, season before that, he got 3 buffs at the same time. I was like, there's no way he's not going to be, especially a Guild Siege, or a Guild content speed lead. I'm like, there's no way he's not going to be used in Guild content with 3 buffs. So he got all 3 buffs at the same time. Or was it 4 buffs at the same time? Like, one small, like, three buffs to his, like, skills, and then 1 buff to something else. I think the leader skill might have been the 4th buff. But, yeah. He was, like, this big buff, all at the same time. We're on 11, so let's take a look at the next one. And he definitely got used. You know, people disagreed, but he got used, so... We got the 9, we got the 12, we see some very similar stuff, This is why I don't think we really need to take a look at all 6 servers necessarily, because we're seeing a lot of the same stuff for these. Oh, goodness. Yep, just keep stacking the same defenses over and over again. This though, oh man, that's crazy to see that. And we see some more, some Nithis. All right, so this is Gonex. Let's go take a look and see what we have for the next one. And we'll just take a look at the first rounds because, again, we saw that the second rounds was not really that different from the first rounds. So we have Frenzy, and then we have, yeah, only a couple. We have 4 more. 4 more to take a look at. And they're all going to be the same. Hey, some Nanas. There we go. Hey, some Eludias. I want to click on you, Eludia. All right. But I think for the most part, that we're just seeing stuff that we already saw 1,000 times already. Hey, there we go. You don't really see too much of him now. You used to see more of him with the. I mean, just because those Onimushas, like they're so strong versus him, versus the Artemail. We have 6. Okay, 7. Let's go to 7. We're seeing. Hey, there we go. It's a little bit different. That dark mage, a little bit different, but like, there's no one that's gonna be able to stack a whole bunch of dark mage towers because not that many people actually have that. This is also a little bit different. That's not something that I would expect. One of the things is the weakness here is they don't have a lot of sustain, so you could just tank this out. They don't have a crazy amount of strips necessarily, so you could really just tank this out. And do it that way. Let's take a look at, we're on 11. Let's take a look at 10. It's a little bit different. We didn't see this specific, I mean, we saw plenty of these units, but we didn't see this specific combination too much before. So you got to imagine this Clara is not going to be, she's going to be on Violent or Despair because this one's going to be, or she could be, yeah, I would just imagine this is just going to be the super fastest one, and then this is just going to be on Violent or Despair, not actually be on Swift. But a lot of people doing those on Violent and Despair anyway. And the thing is, with that, you don't know. Like, you don't know if it's going to be on Swift. You don't know if it's going to be on Violent. You don't know if it's going to be on Despair. Either way, it's going to be super fast. So, all of those are viable builds. But I know that a lot of people... But you have to always go into it, like, expecting, like, this could be Swift. It could outspeed me. If it winds up being on Despair or Violent, then, you know, it's more effective. But you don't know that going into it. Right? Same thing with like a shear. So what do we have? 10. So you gotta kind of play the guessing game, and people can trick you. Imagine that, guys. Imagine people tricking you. Like, no, I don't want to imagine people tricking me. That sounds painful for me. It is. It is painful, but it still happens. Okay. We have. Yep, some more of these. The downside to this is there's not really a whole lot of sustain. But, yeah, but they do have some strips. They do have multiple sources of defense breaks. They got that good, the good crit buff for the Fuki. You got to make sure that you got that crit buff for the Fuki. Lols. Of course, that sarcasm. Crit buff doesn't actually do anything for Fuki since he does not crit. And then we see some more Molong Savannas. We see some more of these. The same thing. LD5 and then the Werewolf and Triana. What do we have for the next one? We have some more of fairly the same stuff. We see some more fairly the same stuff here. Nothing really too crazy. Oh, we see some Ethnas. Hold on. We see some Molong. So this would take the place of where the Savannah was in other ones. But we see the Ethna here. So that's a little bit different. And we see back to Savannahs. Okay, we have the light the light Paladin. Oh my god, I was about to say the light Polar Queen. Been talking too much, guys. Been talking way too much today already. Alright, this is fairly similar to the other stuff. This is just a little bit different. We're seeing the Nanas. We've seen the Nanas before. And we've seen kind of similar comps before, but yeah. So we have a problem. Spotify started playing very much copyrighted music. So I don't know when it started playing copyrighted music. So I'm just gonna redo the VRK Gangster. We're gonna take a relook at this. I don't know if I don't know what the situation is. If it started playing it during the VRK Gangster or whatever. But yeah, if I missed anything, it's not on purpose. It's just because it started playing copyrighted music and I can't use that on YouTube. So FY, if you guys like, oh Bagel, you didn't take a look at that battle, like it could just be that there's copyrighted music there. So this is a little bit different. I think we saw a lot of Claras in here though, or maybe not a lot of Claras, but like we saw. I mean, for the most part, it's fairly similar. We see some more Riley. But yeah, a lot of the same 4-star bases. What do we have for... I want to build my... Oh, I don't know why I keep clicking on that. I want to build... So this is a little bit different, though. This is just LDT. Right, we see some... see, my headphones are not working. This is also a little bit different, a little bit unorthodox over there. And I'm curious how some of these unorthodox teams actually hold up. Usually they don't hold up too well unless they're very effective and people aren't prepared for them. If they're very effective and they're like sleeper, like really good defenses, like but no one realized it just yet, then they perform like they outperform. They perform really, really well. But a lot of the times they don't really do too crazy if they're like non-meta things, right? Especially if they're not stacked over and over and over again. So we are seeing some more of these Tressars. That's his name, right? Tressar, yeah. Tressars on Circle 10. So let's take a look at what else we have here. We've already seen a bunch of those. Let's take a look at this one. We see some more Molong Savannas. We see some more of these ones. We see some more of these ones. Some more Iunus. Somewhat fairly the same stuff, though. I mean, like, who even knows if... We may have to cut something out if it's, like, copyrighted. Accidentally. Like, I'll try to cut out as little as possible, of course. But probably people won't even notice. Probably people like, yeah, it all looks the same to me, Bagel. Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Okay, so let's see. We stopped on VRK. Let's take a look at this one. This one we have... Can we do a little bit more so they at least have another tower that's upgraded? It feels like we already saw... I mean, of course, the whole video feels like we already saw this. Lulz. Let's take a look at this one. We can only take a look at 2 of those defenses there. It's the same defenses over and over a billion times, though. It's nothing too different. It's nothing too different. Yep, just the same Carcano, Oracle, Tyrannus, etc., etc., etc. Let's take a look at 9. A little bit different, a little bit different. I don't think we saw exactly this. I think we saw the Tessarion and Savannah, right? Tessarion, Wusa, Savannah. So... You guys missed all my great commentary. I don't think I really had any great commentary anyway. Similar stuff, similar stuff, similar stuff. It's more Carcano, Tyrannus, and X, where X is solve for X, where X equals Praha or Mali or whatever support unit. There we go. Some more. Hey, this is a little bit different though. This is interesting. Elsharion Bastet Lydia. I was not expecting to see this today. Okay, so that is a thing. So this is a little bit interesting as well because this is defense leader skill, defense buff, defense break, and then this is a guy based on he does damage based on defense. So interesting. We have this is on 9. Which way are we going? We're definitely going this way. Okay, so and that's a dark one. So. Yeah, but yeah, if you're gonna do a Nana on your defense, on your Guild Siege defense, then you need to make sure that you have enough damage with it. Or you really should make sure you have enough damage on your Guild Siege defense, regardless though. Whether it's Nana or not Nana, if you just have a stalled defense, it's just gonna take people a little bit longer to beat you. So it's not really like you're gonna win things. They're just like, oh, I'll just take Destroy Runes and I'll be fine. So. We have for this one same thing, not anything too crazy, same thing. All right, and same thing, and guys, you want to guess on the last tower? And same thing, and a little different. Okay, so what do we have for the last? I think we're on the last one. Oh my goodness, I thought we would never see the day. Beer Club balls. Kind of want to join that guild just because it says Beer Club. So we were saying kind of similar. Usually we see the Molong with this or the Wusa here. But yeah, fairly standard. This is a little bit different though, this one. So we have the Carcano, Ishir, and Iunu. Don't have a lot of strips here though. So a fire DPS unit, or not a fire damage dealer, fire DD unit. And then some kind of immunity would deal with the... He still does have the strip. The Ashir does still have the strip. But fire damage dealer and immunity would be strong here. So, yeah. However, if you keep stacking that over and over and over and over and over again, then the guilds that are fighting you are going to have a hard time dealing with that so many times. But, you know, I've already said this a billion times today. This whole video is just saying the same things over and over and over again. That's the whole video. Okay, so this is a little bit different. I'm curious to see how this fares and why they opted to go for that specific strategy. So, I'm sure there's a reason. Fairly similar stuff. We were on 7, so let's go to 11. Fairly similar. We've seen these a bunch of times already. We're just really trying to look for some new stuff. So, hey, we see some LD teams, right? So, this, of course, this is going to work decently. It's just a bunch of LD5s. Not too many people are. This is a little bit different, though. We see the Carcano, Theomars, and Eladriel. All right. So we are seeing that Eladriel does have some viability because people on all the different servers, not a whole lot, but people on all the different servers are using Eladriel here and there. So we're on Circle 10. Let's take a look. And especially Molong Savannah Molly. All right. So let's see what we have for here. We're seeing some Celias. It's nice to see Celias here. It is. Let's see what we have for this one. Fairly similar stuff. I don't think we saw. And also, this I think we saw this a little bit last season too, if I recall correctly. The Carcano and Barbara Eladriel. Not a whole ton, but again, just a little bit, right? So, and we can take a look at that very last. All right, I guess we could take a look at the last two. Why not? We're already here. It's the same stuff. It's the same stuff and the same stuff and the same stuff. So guys, I don't know if you noticed this, but it's like the same stuff every single... It's always the same stuff in Siege. That's the point of Siege. Like, it's... Based on the mechanics of Siege, the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again is the most effective way to do things. And that's why we see the same stuff over and over and over again. But anyway, that's it for this one. I'm going to go see how much of this was actually copyrighted and how much of this stuff... I hope I don't have to, like... edit things together too much and like cut too much out. I don't want to cut anything out, so I just have to see how much was actually copyrighted music, how much is actually like I get in trouble for or whatever, just in case there's like some maybe some of the parts get muted or something. Maybe I'll try to do that. Maybe I'll try to like mute some of the parts. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I want to get this posted as soon as possible. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys maybe learned something from this. I think the big takeaway is to like different elements. It's the same takeaway as always. Different elements and stack the same defense over and over and over again to be as toxic as possible. This game like motivates you to be toxic because that is the most effective way to do things. Same, and be toxic. Anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you as always in the next one.